Hey everyone, and welcome to RUBIN'S Mind Lab, where we break down the latest research into what it really means. Ever wonder why you can't stop scrolling on social media, even when you know you shouldn't? This new study digs into what we're actually seeing and how it makes us feel. It turns out it is not just about how much time we spend online. This research dives deep into the types of content that social media platforms shove in front of us, thanks to those clever algorithms and how that affects our emotions and overall well-being. They talk to teenagers about what they see on TikTok and Instagram and ask them how it made them feel. What they found is pretty fascinating. For a long time, we've heard about how too much screen time is bad for young people's mental health. But this study argues that it's like blaming a restaurant for making you sick without checking if you ate the spoiled food. What matters more, they suggest, is the content itself. Algorithms on platforms like TikTok and Instagram are designed to show you more of what they think you'll like or engage with. This means what you see isn't always what you choose, but what the algorithm thinks you should see over and over again. They wanted to understand how these different kinds of content, shown repeatedly, actually impact how young people feel. So how did they figure this out? They sat down with 27 teenagers aged 14 to 19 for interviews. Before the interviews, they asked the teens to send in screenshots of their TikTok, For You page or Instagram Explore page. These were pages filled with content that the algorithms had picked out for them. Then, during the interviews, they talked about these screenshots. They wanted to know why the teens thought they were seeing this stuff, and importantly, how it made them feel. They used a method called reflexive thematic analysis. Think of it like carefully sorting through stories and ideas to find the main patterns and themes. And what did they find? They discovered that all sorts of content, whether it is funny videos, ads, stuff about identity, mental health, news, or even stuff about what you look like, can be a bit of a mixed bag, a real double-edged sword. Sometimes it is good, sometimes it is bad, and it often depends on how often you see it and how you are feeling at the time. Let's start with entertainment. Things like funny videos, cute animals, or cool sports clips. Teens said this stuff is great for a quick mood boost or to distract them when they're stressed or bored. It is like a small escape. But here is the catch, because these videos are so engaging, algorithms tend to show them to you a lot. This can lead to endless scrolling. One 15-year-old said, the algorithm is just there to put good videos and make you hooked or make you watch them. They're doing their job well, but it has a negative effect on you as a person. So while it feels good in the moment, it can also make you feel guilty about wasting time and missing out on other things. Then there is consumerism, basically ads and stuff about buying things. Sometimes this is convenient, like seeing a product you might want. But it also means that everywhere you look, there is pressure to buy more. This content gets mixed in with everything else, making it feel normal to constantly see ads for clothes, gadgets, or whatever. One 18-year-old felt it was upsetting. If you see people buying thousands of pieces of clothes and just random plastic tat advertised to you, it just feels like not something I want to see. And it's terrible for the environment. This constant exposure can create a background pressure to keep up or buy things, even if you don't actively look for ads. Content about identity, like who you are, your culture, or your sexuality, can be really positive. It can make teens feel seen, understood, and part of a community, especially if they don't feel that at school. For example, a 16-year-old said, I follow a lot of queer accounts. There is this one lesbian couple on Instagram, and I follow both of them. I watch their videos about their relationship and their queer experiences and stuff, and so, yeah, I tend to have a lot of LGBTQ things on my feed. But the flip side is that these same algorithms can also amplify negative comments, prejudice, and hate speech. A gender-diverse 17-year-old explained. If I go into the comments for videos that have a trans theme, there are, more often than not, loads of people just being horrible to each other. This creates a really mixed emotional experience where feeling accepted can quickly turn into seeing hostility. Mental health content is particularly tricky. Teens mentioned that when they're struggling, seeing others talk about similar feelings can be validating and make them feel less alone. One 18-year-old shared, being able to see that other people experience that through social media, is really helpful. However, often, especially for younger users, the algorithms don't necessarily change what they show you, even when your mood changes. So, what was once helpful can become overwhelming or even triggering. A 17-year-old described how seeing self-harm or eating disorder content felt more relatable when they were in a bad headspace, leading to more of it being pushed to them. But if they were in a better mood, they'd scroll past. The problem is the algorithm might not know the difference and keeps feeding you that content, potentially creating a spiral. News and activism content often comes with a sense of responsibility. Teens feel like they should know what is happening in the world and maybe even get involved. This can be empowering, but algorithms often push dramatic or distressing stories because they get a lot of attention. This repeated exposure to conflict and crisis can be overwhelming. leading to feelings of helplessness or burnout. A 17-year-old mentioned that while it is better to know about it and to have to face the fact that it is awful and horrible than to be ignorant of it, they sometimes get kind of overwhelmed by the scale of what is going on in the world, engaging with this content by liking or commenting. Tells the algorithm you are interested, potentially leading to even more of it. Body image content is something that seems to creep into almost everything. Even when you are not actively looking for it, it shows up in travel photos, fitness posts, and fashion ads. It is about seeing people who fit certain beauty ideals, and it is hard to avoid comparing yourself. One 19-year-old admitted, that can be difficult too, you know. If they're all size 2 and long hair and whatever, that can be difficult to separate. Even when teens know images are filtered or edited, they still feel the emotional impact. A 17-year-old said, I think to an extent I still do compare myself to them because they still do look pretty, even if I know they've got makeup on or there is a filter on it or something. This makes it a particularly persistent and damaging type of content. And finally, there is AI-generated content. This is newer. And teens often described it as confusing or unsettling. It can be hard to tell if what you are seeing is real or made by a computer, leading to concerns about misinformation, one 16-year-old warned. It's concerning that sometimes it takes you a minute to realize that that's not real if you weren't paying attention. It would be quite easy to just go, oh my god, that's a fact, and then just move past. It can also feel strange or uncanny, and teens worried about its ethical implications and its potential to spread harmful messages. So, what is the big takeaway here? These researchers are telling us that the focus on just screen time is too simple. What really matters is the quality and types of content we're repeatedly exposed to through these algorithms. When content is shown to you again and again, even if it is not overtly negative, it can have a cumulative effect. For example, entertainment content can lead to time displacement. And consumerism and body image content create normalized pressures. For younger teens, it is even harder to critically evaluate all of this, making them more vulnerable. Now, it is important to remember this was a qualitative study, meaning it focused on the experiences and interpretations of the teens involved rather than proving direct cause and effect. The participants were from the UK, and while they had a diverse range of experiences, their own self. Selection into the study and potential discomfort discussing undesirable content means we should consider these limitations. However, the strong input from young people themselves in designing and interpreting the study, which is fantastic, really grounds these findings in their lived reality. Ultimately, this study argues that understanding how algorithms shape our exposure to different types of content is crucial for our mental health and well-being. It's not just about if we're online, but what we're seeing and how those repeated encounters affect us over time. This means that when we think about digital well-being, we need to move beyond just counting minutes and focus on the actual experience of the content itself. This research points towards the need for better digital literacy education, not just about online safety, but about how algorithms work and how to manage them. It also suggests platforms need to be more transparent, especially about advertising, and perhaps create more friction around potentially harmful repeated content. What are your thoughts on this? Do you find certain types of content affect you more than others? Let us know in the comments below. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to RUBIN'S Mind Lab for more science breakdowns, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next episode. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.